Why make two stops when you could shop at two amazing stores under one roof? Visit Lollipops on Main Boutique and the Stitching Heifers in the heart of downtown Bushnell for all your clothing, accessories, and custom gear. At Lollipops on Main Boutique, you can find stylish women's and men's apparel, novelty items, and the perfect gift ideas.
The Stitching Heifers is your one-stop shop for embroidered and printed hats, custom patch hats, and trending graphic tees that can be fully customized for you, your company, or your next big event. Whether you need a single design or a whole company's worth of branded gear, they've got you covered. Come see us at 110 Bushnell Plaza in Bushnell. Shop in-store or browse online anytime at mponmaine.com and thestitchingheifers.com. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today we have a special guest. She is the author of The Dismemberer's Handbook, The Blood Chronicles, Divine Vengeance, and You Taste Like Whiskey and Sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Kimberly Love. Kimberly, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Like, there's this comfort level. I think I felt more uncomfortable in an airplane when somebody else was in control. Mm-hmm. But when you're given control, it's almost like, well, you know, you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we used to always fly over farmland. Mm-hmm. So they had permission, obviously, from the neighboring farms that, hey, like, we could end up, like, in your yard. And the farmers used to always talk about how they would see the airplanes literally falling from the sky. Because that's literally what it's like when he cuts the engine.
Yeah.
Your airplane goes into a dive, and it starts circling to the ground until you figure it out.
Wow.
And you basically have to, like, okay, I got to get the engine running. I got to level out the airplane. And that's basically it. You're literally falling to the ground until you figure it out. And it's the same thing with, like, I had to land in a cornfield one time.
Wow. Because
they're like, hey, you might have to land on a highway one day. You might have to land in somewhere else. And they just put you in these dicey situations, and they just hope you figure it out. I had to do a cross-country flight by myself, and you just have to, and the interesting thing is, like, you think you can't do it until you do it. And the first time that I had to go up by myself, like, again, it's repetition, and you don't even know when they're going to do it to you. So I went up, and I landed, and he's like, okay, and they just get out of the airplane. And they're like, you're on your own today. And you're like, literally like, okay.
Yeah.
And you have to get up. And I remember the first time, like, I did it by myself. Once I got up there, I was like, oh, wow. Like, I literally have to get this back down. And you feel like that nervousness, that excitement and stuff like that. And you're like, you know, I don't have any other choice. I have to land this thing.
Yeah.
And you go around, and I remember later he told me, like, he's like, you were a little bit high at first, and I was a little bit worried. But that's the thing. It's like when you touch those wheels to the ground again, mm-hmm. It's like the feeling of success that comes with that. You're just like, wow, I actually did this. It was so incredible. And then, of course, when it's your first flight, they dump a bucket of water over you, and you roll yourself in and stuff like that. So it's just a big experience. But, yeah, I love all sorts of stuff like that.
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
In one story right there. That's I can't imagine. Like, I'm already like, it's because I have a fear of heights. So I, like, when I fly somewhere, like, I didn't take my first flight till I was probably in my late 30s. Oh, wow. Never been on a plane, never wanted to be on a plane. And, like, when you said you feel that calmness, that's how I feel when I'm at the wheel.
Yeah.
Like, when somebody else is driving, I don't feel as in control, as you would say. And so I felt the same way. Enough. Not that I'm going to take the wheel of the plane, but I feel that's the way I feel with the pilot on a regular jet. Mm-hmm. And so, but then I always have to think, look, this guy doesn't want to crash. He doesn't want anything bad to happen. So I literally have to psych myself up. And the first flight I ever took, we flew Frontier to Colorado Springs to see my brother. And he's got two girls. And at the time, they were probably 7 and 3 or 8 and 3. And I look over and there's the oldest niece, Ashlyn, is sitting next to me. And she's just like, whatever. She doesn't care. And I look over at Emma, and Emma's got like a big drink, and she's like they could care less. They have no fear. I'm over here like, oh. Like,
you're like gripping.
Yeah. If she would have held my hand, I probably would have hurt her like hand, like a Rick and Mortis grip. So I'm like, I just don't get it. And that was my first flight. And then I realized, hey, look, that first landing, take it. I love taking off. I love takeoffs. Mm-hmm. But the landings are what I'm like, please just land. Please just land. Because, getting up in the air ain't the bad part. It's getting down, that everybody, was worried about it. But yeah, that's a lot to, but it's good that you feel that comfortable and they kind of know that you're at that point where they can do that.
Well, that's the crazy thing is because, like, I don't think I knew that I was there.
Right.
Like, I was probably, when he got out of, and again, they do it so randomly. I think they do it that way because they don't want to psych you out. If they're like, hey, Thursday, you're on your own, then you're going to worry about it all the way until you do it, right? You're going to freak yourself out. And that's probably why they do that. But, like, I don't think that if he would have been like, hey, on Thursday, do you think you want to go alone? I probably would have been, no, I do not.
Right.
Think that I should go alone. And I don't think that if anyone would have asked me, I would have been like, sure, that sounds cool. Because you do panic. When he got out of the plane, I was just like, absolutely not. Like, what are you doing? And he was like, see ya. And they don't even care. They close the door, they walk away. You don't get a choice. Yeah. That's your day, and that's just what it's going to be. So It is interesting thinking about, like, how do they know? Like, you're really ready to not die today.
Well, and it's also a major commitment because that's something that you can't like halfway do it. You're either all in or nothing. Yeah. And you've done that. The way I would look at it was like, look, this is it. I've done all this training and I'm either going to make it or I'm not.
Right.
And there's no like maybe, there's no maybes. It's either yes or no. There's no in between. And I think if a lot of people took that same ideal, like idea with the risk, like, hey, look, let's totally commit. You ever seen somebody like halfway commit? Yeah. Doesn't really work out for them?
Well, and I think instructors, like, I don't know if it's a sense or if it's just they see red flags throughout it, because there was other people in my class. Like, obviously, like, there's a class of people. We have to do ground school first, and then obviously you're all loose with different instructors flying. But there was one guy in our class, and he had triple the hours I did before they would let him go alone. And there must be something that the instructor's seeing. Either has to repeat a certain thing over and over again, maybe, where there has to be something where he's like, yeah, this guy is not going alone yet.
Yeah.
Because he had the triple hours that I did when he was allowed to go, and it's just got to be like, they're like, yeah, you're not going yet. You're just not going.
Well, I think there's a lot of, sometimes people just aren't ready.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
When I worked at Disney, I got driver trained. So I was going to drive the night parade. So we had a rehearsal. We had driver training. And we went out there, and there were some people that just, even they did the same thing we did, but they didn't do it the way we did it, or they did something different, and they didn't make it. And there were people that got cut from that. But that's how, it's all about safety. They don't want someone to get up there, hurt themselves, hurt others. And I get it because, I mean, sometimes you're just not ready. It takes a little bit longer. Some people can pick it up, like an instant, just bam, bam. Like get it like it's, something they've done forever.
Yeah.
But if you, and I feel bad. This woman that I worked with, she ran and like hopped the curb like with one of the floats, and it was like that that can't happen because normally who's on the curb? People.
Oh yeah, children.
People.
Well, it's funny you say that because we literally had a guy, and he was like an older guy going through our training program, and he hit a fire truck with the airplane. Oh and I don't know, and it was like just taxiing. Like I don't even know where the fire truck was. But he was taxiing the airplane back to ground zero and somehow hit a fire truck in it. And it's like, obviously airplanes have brakes. Like, you know, what are you doing? And like, they literally said, this isn't for you. Like, you know, he had to get his insurance company involved. Like, he broke the airplane. I don't think he broke the fire truck, but I mean, he hit it. They were just like, man, I'm sorry, but this isn't your thing. It's not for you, man. We're not. And they just would not further train him after that, because you do things, you're like, we were all trying to figure out, like, how did you not stop in time? Because the fire truck's pretty big. It's red. You know, it's like a stop sign. Like, I feel bad saying this, but we were all like, man, how did this happen? Like, and he was not allowed back. So it's like, yeah, you're right. Some people, it's just not your game. You know,
what happened,
you're
Larry?
Kill someone.
This daggum fire truck pulled right up in front of me.
It's parked
with his lights on.
The fire truck's parked in one spot, man. It wasn't even moving, and you just in all the. Taxiing down the runway, taxiing around to get back to the parking spot. Like, how did it happen, man? We were all trying to figure out. And he had no explanation. He was just like, oh.
I was doing great till that daggum ladder got me.
He's like, if it wasn't for that fire truck parked there, I would have made it back in time.
I'd have made it. I would have made it through if it wasn't for those dang kids.
Yeah, it's like those kids got in the way. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's terrifying when you think, like, some of these people are, like, driving around on the roads right now, and it's just like...
Hey, he has a license to drive a car.
No, that's what I mean. Like, what? We could not figure out. We were trying to imagine all the scenarios where you hit a fire truck with an airplane, and we couldn't figure it out. We were like, sorry about that. Like, sorry, you can't come back. Like, we couldn't figure it out.
I thought it was bad when she... had hopped the curb, but if she could hear that story, it would make her it would have made her feel so much better about that, because that right there is
top tier.
Nah,
yeah, it's like
that is the best.
You can't beat hitting a fire truck with an airplane.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine like how do you explain that to the like?
I probably like you just pack it up. You just leave the building, hopefully nobody sees you. Pack it up and just go, because there's no, I could not face anybody. I'd be like, and he was actually like, so when's my next flight? Like, you know, he didn't have a care in the world. He was like, I'll see you tomorrow. They were like, no, you will not. Like, you know?
He's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, I won't do it again. And they're like, you absolutely will not. You're right.
You can't afford again.
No, they're like, we're talking to your insurance company. Like, I wonder, like, what the cost of repairing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, what is the cost of repairing the airplane at that point? And thank God his wife was a doctor, because he probably needed all the help he could get at that point. But I'm just saying, like, he was gung-ho. He was like, I'll see you on Friday. Like, he was like, zero, you know... Not a care in the world.
He was like, and there I was, just driving this airplane. And all of a sudden, there's a fire truck.
And he was like, this was not my fault.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he's like, shit. He was like, you know, things happen, man. And they were like, no.
He's like, all right, well, all right. No. I'll take up billiards.
Yeah. They're like, find a new hobby, man. Like, find a new hobby.
Anything that doesn't have to do with a vehicle and driving into a fire truck. Wow.
Yeah, like find another life goal, and
Why don't you write a book about that?
You know, I should.
That should be the grand finale.
Yeah,
he ran into the fire truck.
Like, he's the next character.
And exploded everywhere.
It's like, we have to give it, as if it's not bad enough, the fire truck has to explode as well.
The fire truck put itself out.
Yeah.
With water. Have you ever seen a fire truck catch fire?
No.
I'm sure it does. It's had to have.
No.
Isn't that
crazy?
I don't know.
I imagine it must. I mean, I imagine they build them.
I mean, it seems counterproductive, doesn't it? It's like,
I mean,
it
in the
feels like
movies, everything catches on fire, right?
Oh, that's
like,
true.
It's like everything blows up. A car blows up, and you're just like, that would never happen. But everything blows up in the movies.
Well, yeah. That's because they have a stick of dynamite in the gas tank.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care if it's unrealistic. They're doing it anyways.
I still can't believe the guy hit a fire truck with an airplane.
It'll haunt. Imagine that's your story, though.
Yeah.
Like you're that guy.
I would have went pro.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's like.
That daggum fire truck got in the way. Just ruin Easter.
Yeah. He's like, I was trying to get my license. Now I don't have a license.
Now I got nothing to do with my time. I feel like I'm a waste.
That was his retirement plan too. Like he was a retired guy.
He's like, hey Betty, I'm gonna go see the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly
everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then the fire truck, cue the fire truck.
Yeah, he was like, that fire truck ruined my life. And they're like, but you could have turned away from it. There are ways to turn an airplane, and he's like,
they have brakes, right?
Yeah, brakes, turning.
Brakes.
There was like all the tools involved that could have stopped.
Was it like Austin Powers where he's like, no?
I don't know. I wish I don't think they even had GoPros back then.
Oh
I'm aging myself. I don't know that they probably did have something.
Wow.
But I don't know what I would have liked to know what was going on in the cockpit.
Oh yeah.
Because he didn't even have an instructor. He was at the point in his flying career that he was alone. So there was not even anyone inside that could have helped him, could have braked for him, because obviously like the way the airplanes are built, there's like brakes on both sides because they're obviously instructors are going to be like, oh, that's dicey. We're going to stop that right there.
Like a student driver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're set up that way. So no, he had no help. He was in there alone. Wow. I would have loved to know the interior monologue. Like he was probably like, oh my God, what do I do?
No, he put the earbuds in. He's listening to Tupac, and he's drinking a drink, and he's like, to live and die in L.A. And he's like, I'm coming for you.
And then all of a sudden, there's a fire truck there, and he's like, oh my God, how'd this happen?
Oh my God, that is hilarious. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
You don't.
That's pretty great.
That's followed me.
I thought my story at Disney was pretty funny with the float. So to continue that story real quick. We did the loop, and then we came back into the break room, and our trainer Bruce Wolf, who's been on the show, shout out to Bruce Wolf. He came in, and he goes, guys, and he's got a flashlight with a cone on it, like the parade. He's like, guys, what does this mean? And he's doing a little circle, and the cone's up, so it's like this. And they're like, speed up. Everybody says speed up. And he goes, that's right. We had some people trying to make us to spin like in a big. Can you imagine like a big float? Like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But no, this means speed up, slow down, stop. Yes. Okay. All these things that you should know by now.
I did not realize you guys had those.
Oh yeah.
Kind of instructions.
Yes, we had it's just like almost like air traffic control.
Yeah.
Same thing.
To stop the mayhem.
Yeah. And now they do. I was at the tail end. We had a big safety redo, and they changed it up. Like come forward, back up, and it's like it's a lot of, but it's necessary. It's necessary for the performers and the obviously the guests. They want people to be safe, and so there's a lot of regulations and stuff that we had to redo. And but it's something you learn, and but some people got confused, I guess, and I don't know. I guess they were in a float that they meant to not turn, and they were turning. But here we go.
They're like off-roading the floats.
How'd I get in the castle?
Like off-roading today.
Yeah, exactly.
On this episode,
I'm in Fantasyland by Dumbo. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Back to your books. When you're writing these novels, I really don't know how to ask this question, but and maybe I can explain what I mean. But I always have, like, I know murder is dark. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But is there any way? Does it have to be all dark? Like the entire novel, is it all dark, or can there be spots where, like, does it start off happy? Is it easier to do that, or just you want to consistently keep it dark? Does that make sense?
No, I think that you have to have something else going on in the story. I mean,
kind of alter it.
My book starts off dark right out the gate. You're really in the serial killer's mind immediately. So, but that's not always the case, of course. But there's also romance going on in the book. Like, my character is meeting someone and potentially falling in love. You're also like, I have some funny anecdotes in my story about like doing mushrooms in Thailand.
Okay.
And like buying just random like psychedelic mushrooms from like individuals and seeing what happens. So there's like bonfire stories of meeting new people in Thailand and stuff like that, and how you make connections when you're on vacation and stuff. It's basically a vacation murder story. It's imagining what would you do if you went on vacation and you ran into a serial killer.
Yeah.
That's kind of the basis around the story.
Wow.
Because you're meeting new people.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that you definitely have to
Right.
have other things going on in the story, because one thing that I know, if I read a story too dark, you almost, like on your next book, you almost need like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I went really dark there, and that if that story stays with you too long,
Yeah.
and then you jump into another horror book, it is kind of like mind altering. So like sometimes even if I read something really dark, I'll like hop into a romance novel next, just to like lighten the mood and not just be dark all the time. So I think that you do, for me personally, I know Stephen King keeps it dark for a really long time in some of his books. So he doesn't care. Like, he's like damaging you, and then you have to figure it out after the book's done. Like, you have nightmares and that sort of thing. But I do try to have all other things going on in the story so that it's not so overwhelming, because people are like, people have a hard time connecting what I write in the books to me, because they're like, there's no way that this girl is writing this stuff. Like, there's no way. My agent always sends my books to people to read before it's published, because an author gets so close to the story that you can almost miss something.
Right.
Like, you might think that you have the mystery figured out, but there's this huge plot hole that could ruin everything.
Right.
So they're called beta readers, and these books go out to other readers to see if there's anything that needs to be fixed or plugged up. And this beta reader went back, and she was like, to my agent, she was like, that was a fantastic book. She's like, is there something wrong with the author? Like, is there something mentally wrong with the author? And he was like, that was the best thing you could have ever said. We'll send the book right out. Like, because they're going in the stories and they're like, this stuff is messed up. And they're like, but that's obviously the whole point of the book. The whole point of the book is you're dealing with serial killers. There's going to be some messed up things in there. Like, that's people who read the stuff, they want to see that stuff. But again, people are like, oh, this girl. Like, when people meet me, they're like, there's no way that you're writing about this stuff. But I'm really good at writing about this stuff, because, again, they can't figure out how I come up with this stuff.
Right. Now, do you, when you're doing do you ever do like research on stuff? Do you contact, like, I don't know, like, how procedures are done, or like forensics? Do you know? I mean,
yeah.
Are you really good at that? Like, figuring out?
You have to. I mean, I don't know if every author does it, but I mean, yes, for the detectives, I had to figure out, like, obviously how does a crime get figured out? How do case files get read? How does that sort of thing happen? The same with even like, if writing in Thailand, like, unless you've been to Thailand, you have to know about Thailand, stuff like that. One of my other books, Divine Vengeance, there is a paranormal book, and it's based off of angels and demons. So it's like, I literally contacted like my old flight instructor to figure out the aerodynamics of somebody having wings. So
cool.
So the wings on my characters in that book are literally based off of how the wings on an airplane flies.
I gotcha.
So it's stuff like that. But it's pretty common to have to do that. You have to you want to be able to know your characters. You want to, and my character in the first book almost dies. And I contacted an EMS person, and I was like, I need to know. She still has to do stuff.
Right.
But she's she's practically dead.
Yeah.
How can we fix a wound to the point where she could still carry on? without going to a hospital. And he literally walked me through how to plug a punctured lung long enough that she could continue carrying on the story before she went to the hospital.
Okay.
And so I didn't even think that was possible. But the EMS is like, yes, we can figure this out. So it's interesting, if you, so I definitely make sure my stuff's legit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, and what I meant by do you do your research, I mean, obviously, you don't want to make up something that's, and I've always wondered if it's fictional, can you make it up anyways? Like
you could,
like you said about Thailand. If you don't know much about Thailand, can you be like, yeah, and everybody wears like funny hats on their head, and that's not true, but since it's fictional and it's not meant to be real, can you get away with that?
No. You couldn't.
Okay.
Now, what you could get away with, because obviously there's, if for whatever reason people in Thailand are reading your books, they're going to be like, what are you doing? You're going to get those people for sure. But what happens is, you can get, say Texas, for example. You can make up a city in Texas. Stephen King does it all the time.
Right.
A lot of his stories are, built in, Texas, for example, but the city itself is completely made up. It may be based off of a real city, but the city itself that stuff you can get mixed up. Anything fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, you could have a Thailand city where you're making up stuff like that, hats. But it's because it's fantasy, you can get away with making up literally anything. You can say that Thailand has dragons and it'll be okay.
Right.
Because people expect everything in Lord of the Rings to be made up.
Gotcha.
But in a real life story, no, you have to be careful. You can make up towns, you can make up characters, but you can't be make up part of a tradition necessarily, or change a tradition, or do something where Thailand people might get offended.
And that makes sense. And that's I didn't want to make it sound like you were making fun of the culture. It was just if you just randomly said, "Oh yeah," and we went and they had this parade that celebrated I don't know, something random celebrated alligators or something like that.
I don't know. That might be dicey.
Yeah, and then you're you wouldn't want to venture into something
No,
like
I probably wouldn't. No, just because, you just, especially in today's society, I feel like we're in a society where lots of things aren't taken the right way, and even if you're joking, you could offend somebody. So I think it's just better to go on the side of caution in certain things, just to make sure.
Stick to the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the biggest misconception that people have about solving mysteries and murders? In your opinion?
I think probably the biggest misconception is that it's figured out.
That it always gets solved?
Yeah, because I think one of the biggest things that people forget about is that there are probably thousands and tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 of unsolved cases.
Yeah.
People that go missing, they're never found. People that get murdered, the killers are never caught. And I think that people don't like those type of endings because, if there isn't some kind of resolution to the end of the story, people get anxious. And they don't like that, and I've even had it where, people have emailed me and been like, Harley better not die.
Yeah.
They can't resolve that around in their heads that, what they want isn't going to happen. And I think that's probably the biggest misconception is that, yes, all these murder things that we do, all these mysteries, there's always an ending where it's all figured out, the killer's caught, everything's hunky-dory and stuff like that. But I think it's forgotten that there's cold cases for a reason.
Yeah, it's not like we said earlier, an episode of Matlock where it gets solved in an hour, half hour.
Yeah,
episode.
The little old lady got it figured out.
We should just call Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, it's
why
didn't we figure that out?
Yeah, we should have waited. But yeah, I get all that, and that's a lot. I mean, a lot of people just want closure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these unsolved mysteries I've been here for. So there's a lady, I just saw this on, I think it was either TikTok or Facebook, whatever it was social media. And there was this, it was in the Villages. And there's a lady that the police come up, two policemen come up, and I think her name is Sharon. I don't know if you've seen this or not. But,
no.
She's with another friend, and they're in the development, and I think it's Lake County, or it might be Marion County. But they come up and they're like, we need to talk to you for a minute. And the friend or neighbor or whatever she was, she's like, oh, they're just playing with you. Like, they're just, because they're like, we need you to come with us. And she's like, what can I, like, you know, like anybody else would be like, can I ask why? I mean, randomly, and we're going to go to the police station. And they're like, we need you to come with us. And the neighbor's like, oh, they're just messing with you. and the police officer looks at her and goes, ma'am, no, we're not. We need you to, could you let us do our job? And she was like,
wow.
oh, right. Well, I'll see you later. Yeah. And like, she walks away. But apparently, she had, I don't really want to use the word kidnap, but she like took her daughter to Florida. And it was like 40 years ago.
Oh,
like,
I think I
like
saw
up
that.
and left, and like just left the situation. I don't even know what happened, but like husband's at home, he goes to work, I'll see you later, or she says I'll see you later. He leaves, she grabs all their stuff and they leave. And then they come to Florida, and for 40 years, like her daughter was very young, so she didn't even know what was going on. And she changed her name, blah, blah, blah. They had no idea. And now they're like, yeah, it finally, I mean, but for 40 years, you know what I mean? Like, nobody knew. And she didn't tell anybody.
That's the one that just got caught in the Villages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
And you know what? I have a real life story connected to that sort of thing. Like, I always wonder when they come up with those stories, it's like, was she bad or was the husband bad?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, because I don't want to say other from what I can. Again, it's on TikTok, so you don't get a lot of information. You just get the video. Yeah. So what I could tell by putting together with the video, she just up and left. But that's considered kidnapping.
Well, yes, of course.
When you leave and don't tell your spouse where the child is.
It's crazy that she was even able to cross the border, because nowadays I know even if you're in a divorce situation or something like that, you typically have to have a letter of permission from the other person saying, yes, we have talked about it. She is allowed to cross the border.
Well, I think she was in the States, so that you can go anywhere in the States.
Oh, so they were both in the States. She just left the States.
Yeah,
I thought she left the country.
No. I think it was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot easier.
It's a southeastern state. I don't know exactly, or it might be north. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, yeah, they just there's no way of telling.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, but that just happened recently. I'm like, oh my gosh, like. What? Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck. The delicious mobile coffee truck that brings you the caffeination inspiration you need. We deliver signature coffee products like our Nitro Cold Brew and Caramel Frappe to any occasion or festivity. And for those who don't like coffee, we offer a variety of delicious hot chocolates, energy drinks, lemonades, and teas. That's Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck.
Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Panasoffke's only craft beer tap room, offering 12 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beer, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and pub food. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app.
Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. CY Western Company is located in Bushnell, Florida. It's a great place for boots, clothing, gifts, and accessories for the whole family. They are a family-owned and operated business that opened in 2008. They offer free gift bagging and layaway services, and also a 10% discount for 4-H and FFA members with proof of membership. Be sure to like them on Facebook, where customers can stay updated on sales and giveaways. You can find them next to Lowry's True Value Hardware in Bushnell, open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturdays, 9 to 5. Be sure to check out CY Western Company.
Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, served at Lake Panasoffkee and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 34 years, we have strived to serve great food at good prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our wings and burgers are the best around. We have our daily specials too. We are open Wednesday through Saturday. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information.
Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing gear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kingston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with it. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store.
No, it's crazy. And that actually happened to me as a child. Like, I'm allowed to talk about it now because we're all adults, but my mother was in an abusive situation with a man. My father, and she left him. She decided to leave him when I was 6 months old, and she literally did it. When he went to work, she was ready. She packed a car full of stuff, just enough stuff to go, and she left. And she literally changed our names. We moved to a different city, and I never knew any of this until I was older, but she literally had to tell the schools, like, their father is not allowed to pick them up from school, because she always believed that he would just show up,
right,
and then take the kids and run away and stuff like that. He was a very, very dangerous man, and it got to that thing where she had to change the names. We weren't allowed to be picked up at school, and we didn't know any of this because obviously we were kids, and she didn't want to scare us. But I grew up thinking that my life was entirely normal. I didn't even know that I had a fake last name until I was in my teen years, and then it all kind of came out, and it was this big family secret. And it's like, you realize there are people in situations, like my mom was scared.
Yeah.
She was scared that what was happening to her was going to happen to her children at some point. And obviously I was way too young to even know what my dad was like. I've never met him for obvious reasons. And that's just the way it is. These crazy stories. And it's like, you do wonder, did she have a reason to leave? Or was it the husband that was in the right, and she had, because a lot of these women do have, the women that do leave for the wrong tend to have mental health issues, and they run away with the children and that sort of thing. But yeah, I definitely have a very relatable story to that, and yeah.
Yeah, and then that's, it happens so much more than everybody thinks.
Yeah.
It used to, you could probably, if you go back 50 years, people you would kind of feel like almost like an endangered species. Like, that really happened to you, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's so common.
Well, it was in the 70s when it happened to
Right.
me. And obviously that was pre-social. It would have been a lot easier to do what my mom did back
Right.
then
Oh,
than
yeah.
it would be nowadays.
Absolutely.
Because, my dad, I don't even know how he would have even attempted to find us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas nowadays it would be so much easier to
Yeah.
track someone down.
Oh, yeah, you can Google somebody's name.
Right?
And it gives you
Yeah.
their,
Or
cell
find their
phone
social
number.
media account
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Gives you your credit score.
yeah.
First of kin. Emergency contact.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy how we've evolved as society, as like technology and stuff. So going back to those murders and stuff, like unsolved mysteries, there's a bunch of stuff like in that particular case we're just talking about, the one that it was like, something happened where somebody recognized something through DNA. I don't know how they did it, but there's so many, they're coming back, all these cold cases.
Oh, yeah, because
They're
when
coming
DNA
back.
came around.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because people think, oh, well, shoot, people got away with it or this or that, or, there was not even like a actually premeditated murder or anything. Like, it's just like an example. There's these two kids. They were going to prom or something. They were in a car and they wrecked the car into to a river.
Oh wow!
And it obviously they sank and they drowned. Both of them drowned. They were young kids, and they found the car 20-something years later.
Oh my goodness!
But so but even though it's been 20 years, at least for that family, there's closure.
Yes.
They don't know. They don't have to worry about them. Like, are they out there? Are they safe? Or you know what I mean? Like, are they still alive? They at least they know where they are, and they can honor them the way they are, not like where they're going to be waiting around to see what happens, and then a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interviews too from parents where, like, say their kid's been missing for 10 years. They have literally admitted that, I wish, like, the body would have been just found.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, it's the wondering that kills
Closure.
them, is that they don't know what happened. Like,
Absolutely.
obviously it's assumed if it's 10 years later, the person's probably dead.
Right.
But it's that I'll never know what actually happened. I'll never know. And
Right.
it's like you get haunted with that throughout your whole life. And you do want to say, like, it would just be if they found the bones, if they found whatever. It's just that closure. They want to let it go and move on with their lives.
True. Out of all your books that you've written so far, which one's your favorite? Or actually, you could say, because I hate to say which one's your favorite, because I know they're all of you,
Like children almost.
But almost children.
You're letting out in the world.
But what's one you're most proud of and why? Like why would you be like what book comes to mind?
I mean, I love the Dismemberer's Handbook just because it's badass. It's a badass book.
Yeah.
But as far as like a life-changing thing, it would probably be You Taste Like Whiskey and Sunshine. And it's mainly because I didn't expect what came from that book. Now, again, that's pieces of my life in that book. And again, I didn't expect, I told I think it's like 14 chapters. Each chapter is a different part of my life. And what I didn't realize was that people were going to read the book and see themselves in it. Mm-hmm. And now I talk about abuse, obviously, in that book. And I talk about like postpartum depression. And I talk about following your dreams and all that stuff. And that was just me trying to kind of take the things that happened to me, release them out into the world, and let it go. And what I didn't expect was that I would start getting a massive amount of emails from people being like, thank you. Mm-hmm. I feel heard. Like, I thought I was the only one. And all this stuff. And it blew my mind because I was like, wow, like I've impacted somebody's life. And I didn't realize that would be a byproduct of it. And it actually led to, ended up getting invited onto like a radio show in Detroit at the time. And when I started talking about it, they got so much feedback from that episode that they offered me my own show. Really? And I had for like 9 years, about 7-ish years ago, I had my own radio show in Detroit, and it was like based off of showing other women, telling other women's stories and how they changed tragedy to success. And that was kind of like, I did that for 9 years. And it was all based off of the fact that, people felt heard during this book. So if I'm going to take one book, I'm going to say it's that one, just because of the fact that I changed people's lives somehow, and I didn't expect to do that.
Right.
I was just trying to heal myself, essentially. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's probably my biggest success.
I think a lot of people, like, it's funny how people are so relatable to other people and they don't even realize it. And not just in your case, but there's always that classic line where they go, well, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what and then like, really, I know exactly how you, like in your case, you could say I wrote a book about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it may not be exactly, no story is going to be the same, but they're very relatable. And when I started this podcast, it was the same reason. I wanted to help others, share their stories, promote our student athletes that we have at our high schools, and just give back to the community. I mean, it was a very simple premise that I had, and when you realize people start giving you feedback and you go, this is why I did it. Or sometimes and I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've experienced it. Starting the podcast, obviously you're starting something new and you're very small. And so you're going to be at the bottom. And then you get, this goes right and this goes right. And somebody calls you and says, or texts you, or the next time they see you, they go, hey, I really liked the episode. It helped me out a lot. Then it made all that possible. And all that second guessing and everything I was doing went away. And it made it to where I could kind of go back to what I don't want to forget the reason why I started this.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care whatever happens in the future. The one thing I don't want to do is forget this.
Right.
Where I started, and it's very easy to do when you get a little bit of success. We deal with a lot of sports and stuff, and a lot of people that when they leave that small town, that they tend to forget that they could be back in that small town in no time.
Right.
And so you need to remember.
Be humble.
Be humble. Remember where you're from, and always, I guess, show gratitude. Mm-hmm. Gratitude for everything you have, and gratitude toward people that are making or helping you out be successful. Because you can't do it by yourself.
No, absolutely not.
So, but I know exactly what you mean by that, and it's a great feeling. And that's not why I know that's not why you do it, and that's not why I do it. But it's a great reminder, like I said. And I just had an experience not even long ago. It was probably about a month ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm always thinking about what's my next step? What's my next? I try to do this. I'm trying to be a couple of steps ahead of where I'm at now, just to kind of get everything planned out. And I just didn't see it wasn't going the way I was wanting it to go. And that's not how it works sometimes.
Right.
But then I started second guessing and questioning why am I doing this? And then I got this reminder from someone that said, hey, look, I really enjoyed, they always say the podcast, but they mean the Facebook Reels.
Sure.
And I go, hey, I'll take anything. I'll take whatever you got. But I'm like, yeah. I was like, did you see it on Facebook? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, that's not the whole show. You should watch. Watch the whole show. Watch the whole show, folks.
Yeah.
Watch the whole thing, and you'll get, maybe there's something else you'll get out of it.
Right.
But again, I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful that they took the time to just sit down and watch the show, and it takes a lot for somebody to do that.
Yeah.
And that trust factor of like, what am I watching? Is it going to be good?
Yeah.
Is it worth my watching? Is it worth my
Exactly.
time? Just like reading your books. Am I going to sit down and watch this? Am I going to hate this novel?
Right.
Can I get past the first chapter? Is that's always the key,
Yeah.
I want to ask you this, speaking of books and your books. I know we've talked about, like, you said no mental block earlier. You don't really get that. But is there anything tough about writing a novel besides, other than getting what your topics and stuff? I guess once you get that going, but is there anything that, I know you said no mental block. That's like a big key for people. They go, oh my gosh, I have mental block and writer's block.
Yeah.
And but is there anything else besides that plays in that variation?
Well, I mean, like, I don't get writer's block in the sense that when people talk about writer's block, they talk about you literally have to take a break from writing because you have nothing to say, right? Or you can't figure out how to move from chapter 3 to chapter 4. And I don't have that. The story always flows good for me, but the thing that can block you is that you can have part of the mystery hit a roadblock. You could be like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. Like, it's interesting because I've heard from authors where they will say that your characters can almost have a mind of their own when they go. And people are like, oh, you made this person up. How is that even possible? But it's true. You write, and this person's going down a road, and it's almost like the character changes the story themselves, if that makes any sense at all.
Right.
And I've heard authors talk about how, like, yeah, I actually didn't plan on that character dying, but the other character made it happen. And it's just kind of the road that the thing goes down. Now, one thing that I realized, and that was when I talked to the EMS guy, was that, like, I knew that Harley was going to have a rough road. Like, in no means is she, like, solving anything easy. Mm-hmm. You know, she's never been up against a serial killer before. You know, she's like a New York detective, and she's just never experienced anything like this before. And she gets served, no doubt about it, throughout this book. So one of the things that I stopped at was like, I need her to almost die. Like, she needs to be, like, everybody's, like, she has to almost die. But how can I get it to the point where she's going to make it to the next book still? And, you know, I tried to figure it out on my own. And that's why we go to the experts. So, yes, there's definitely positions within the book where you're like, you think, especially for me, because I don't do outlines. So I plan, I know the beginning, I know kind of the middle, and I definitely know how I want it to end. But throughout that period, you are definitely going to hit stuff where it's like, I thought that was going to work, but it absolutely does not make sense anymore. Yeah. So in that kind of thing, and it's just a matter of maybe even backing up. Sometimes you have to rewrite entire chapters. And like, even if I get to chapter 20 and then I'm like, that didn't work out the way I want, sometimes I have to go back to chapter 3 and change something in chapter 3 so that when I get back to chapter 20, it makes sense.
Right.
So yes, there are some things that can plug you up throughout the process.
True. And generally, how long does a novel or a book take to write for you?
For me, 3 months.
3 months.
But I mean, everybody's different. Some people take a year. Some people take 5 years. Some people take a month. But for me, like, I've been writing my whole life. I used to write for newspapers and magazines. I used to ghostwrite. So ghostwriting is basically writing a book for somebody else who can't write, and then they put their name on it and sell it as themselves. So under my belt, I probably have about 150 books.
Oh, wow.
Just because I've written for famous entrepreneurs. I've written for people who are out in the world, you know, and I have to sign non-disclosures that I don't talk about what I've written about. So I have an extensive background. So to me, writing is not easy, but I can do it quickly.
Yeah.
Just because I have so much experience, but
it's almost like second nature.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I figured that's awesome.
Well, I guarantee you, like, if you walk into a bookstore, probably 75% of those books aren't written by those people, especially celebrities. Celebrities aren't writing those books. Famous entrepreneurs probably aren't writing those books. They're too busy. They got other things to do.
Right.
Somebody else is writing those books, and they're just being put out. And shockingly enough, a lot of fiction books aren't even written by the people that they're writing about. Because I've literally written easily 100 romance novels, and they're not under my name. And people are always like, why would people do that? Why would somebody who can't write act like a writer? I don't have an answer to that question, but they're out there. And it's like, it almost like rubs you a little bit, because you think to yourself, like, if you're not a writer, why wouldn't you find your gift and then run with your gift? But that's the thing, like, I made a lot of money off of writing for other people. And that's just, to me, it's just part of my job. And I guess people just want to know that they have an idea, they don't know how to execute the idea. They hire someone who can, and then now their dream of that really good story idea is out there in the world, whereas maybe it wouldn't have been otherwise, right? So, but yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. I did that for like 20 years, and before I started publishing my own stuff.
I tried to, like I said earlier, when I was growing up and I would write stuff, I remember one time in class, I was a junior in high school, and I had a history class with Mr. Jim Roberts, and great teacher, passed away, great teacher. But he was very funny, but he was also one of those guys where you didn't really know how to take him, and so like he could look really serious, like he's mad, but he's totally joking. But you don't know that. You can't. It's hard to read, like a poker face. So in his class, his famous thing was, you need this. So that, you write this down, okay? So because chances are it's going to be on the test. So everybody's got paper out, and we're talking about, I don't remember what it was, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get out of this. Because I don't mind taking notes, but I was like, just one of those days I didn't want to take notes. And I was like, just sitting there, just kind of staring at him, you know. He goes, Mr. Goblay, you need this. And I go, yes, sir. And he goes, well, aren't you going to write it down? I said, I got a photographic memory. Hey, and he goes, write it down. And I go, all right. Yes, sir. But I mean, that's,
Oh my God.
It was hilarious. But I'm like, sometimes you don't want to write for yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'll never forget. That's one of those things I'll never forget. Like, write it. I'm like, sir, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't believe. I'm like, what? You don't believe me? I got a photographic memory. I'm pretty good at remembering stuff.
Yeah.
Write it down. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I truly believe like everybody has a story to tell. You know what I mean? Lots of people come up to me and they're like, oh, like, you know, I always wanted to write a story, but I don't think I can. And I truly believe that everybody has a story to tell,
Yeah.
whether it's fiction or nonfiction.
Yep.
I think that, you know, everybody has it in them to tell something that meaningful to themselves,
Right.
whether it means something to anybody else. If it means something to you, like, let it out there. Why not?
Well, I was about to say, what would you say to an inspiring writer?
Yeah.
And then you just answered that.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I mean, like, the thing is that you never know whose lives you're going to touch. And I think, like, again, for me, when I started publishing, it's terrifying in the sense that you're putting something that you care about out in the world, and you're really hoping people don't reject you. Because
Right.
obviously, especially with social media now, like, people will rip you apart online, and everybody, it doesn't matter how famous you are, you'll have a hater out there.
Oh yeah.
There's no leaving that behind. But it's like, so when somebody decides to put something out there about themselves, you can get good and you can get bad. But to me, what I've realized is that, like, you never know whose lives you're going to change, whose lives you're going to touch, just by putting yourself out there. And I think that's the greatest part about doing what I do, is even
true.
with the fiction, like, people love this stuff. And getting the emails and the comments on social media, like, you know, I read your book in a day. How can you not just feel amazing after that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
touching somebody, you know, this is somebody's form of entertainment. This is what they do,
Yep.
you know, to pass the time. Like, how could you not love that?
It's their version of binge watching.
Yeah, like, this is what they do. Like, when they aren't at work and they decide they're going to relax, this is what they do. And that's honorable.
That's true. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions here?
Sure, hit me with them.
All right. Favorite murder mystery of all time, book or movie?
Oh, my goodness. Murder mystery.
I mean, we already covered Murder, She Wrote.
I don't know. Law and Order SVU is probably my all-time. Like, that sucker's got 20
With
seconds.
Ice-T.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Ice-T here. Yes, Your Honor, he did do it.
Oh, my God. You're going to get a message from him one day.
I know, I love it.
No, that's actually a pretty good...
I love ice cream, by the way.
No, you know what, the funny thing about Law and Order SVU is people are like, hey, do you listen to music in the background when you read? Do you do anything in the background when you write? Because the thing is that I get cabin fever, so I cannot just have silence. So I have Law and Order playing in the background when I write. That's what I do.
When I used to do photos, I used to do photography, and when I would edit photos, I would have something playing in the background, like a TV show or something, and just a little background noise, so I could cut it. And that made me focus more.
Yeah.
So I do believe that. That's
And
that's
and
good.
if I'm writing a book, I definitely have like Conjuring on in the background. Something
Oh my
that
gosh.
no, that's my comfort movie. Like, I'm
Watching
not gonna-
Jaws tomorrow.
Jaws, yeah, it's like during your no problem. I got it. It's like you see those memes where it's like, she's like, I'm gonna watch my comfort movie, and it's a Conjuring. That's what I
You're
go
like,
to sleep to.
who are you right now? Oh my gosh. How about plot twist or slow burn?
Plot twist. I like things to mess me up. I don't know. Anybody who's like gone out and watched. It's out right now. The Housemaid. It's a thriller. It's you won't even see it coming. I read the book, so I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I took my daughter to it recently. It's amazing book, amazing movie. You ain't gonna see nothing coming. But that's what I like. I like them to mess me completely up.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like The Sixth Sense, right at the end, where you're like,
exactly.
You're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hadn't watched it in the last 30 years.
But like,
they're all dead.
Have you seen Fracture with like Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling?
No, I don't really. So my thing is, if I watch an intense movie like that, the last one I saw was Insidious. The part where that demon face is right here, I'm like, ah!
Yeah. And then you have nightmares for a week?
No. I didn't have nightmares. But what's funny is me and my buddy Kenny, we would sit down and watch movies like that, and we would laugh. Mm-hmm. That's how we got through it.
Yeah.
Like, I really like House of Wax. You ever had that?
Yes.
Seen that? I love House of Wax.
Yeah.
Not the one with
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, but not with Vincent Price, but the
the Paris Hilton one.
The Paris Hilton one. Yeah, that one was good, and I liked that. But I'm like, but we sat there and we made fun of it. That's how we watched it.
Yeah, you're like processing through the trauma.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, it's like what was that Mystery Science Theater where they had the little robot in there, and they're talking. That's us. That's our rendition of it. But then it's not so scary, because you're like, oh my gosh, if I was sitting in here by myself with the lights off, I would pee my pants. I mean, I'm not going to do that.
I know, hopefully not.
No. I mean, not the pee pants part.
Yeah.
But the sitting in here by myself.
I'm like, you're not peeing your pants right now, are you?
Consider me Miles Davis. You know what I'm saying? If peeing in your pants is cool. Okay, that's another movie. Let's see here. First line or last line? What's more important?
Well, in my career, the first line is everything, because like if you can't catch the reader within the first couple of sentences, you might not even get them at all.
True.
Like I grip them from the beginning. Like they're like, oh, did somebody already die? Like, you know. Jesus. Like, wait, what just happened? Like, but that's my industry, and it's because we were trained that like the very first time I even considered publishing, I went to this like conference, and somebody one of the agents was like, I guess they get like 1,000 manuscripts a week. Mm-hmm. No joke. And some of them don't even get read. And it's like, when you think about sending your book to a publisher, you're jacked, right? You're thinking, they are going to read this and they're not even going to see what came.
They throw it in the trash.
Yeah. And it's like, when you actually talk to an agent and you find out how many books don't even get read, or like they're immediately going in the slush pile, or like it's traumatizing. Because you think you spent so much time on this book and it's the best thing it's the next American novel, right? Like you did something amazing. And the agent was like, if you cannot catch us in the first few paragraphs, they might not even read anything beyond that. And it's terrifying as a writer, because you're like, oh. So that's, to me, it's the first line's everything. Like, you got to make sure that you're going to get people from chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3 without putting your book down.
Can you please, I have an idea. Can you please write a novel, a murder mystery during the Depression? And I want you to, the first line is going to be, it was the worst of times. It was the worst of times.
It was always worse. Oh my God.
I say that to people when I'm having it's been a crazy day. I go, I walk in, I go, it was the worst of times. It was the worst of times.
Like, it just doesn't ever get any better.
No, and it doesn't. And that's the point. I'm like, but you gotta.
That's messed up, though.
But if you can, hit me up. All right. I just want credit.
I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll be like, in the acknowledgement page, it's Billy. Billy wrote the first sentence.
I'll sign an affidavit saying that I have nothing to do with the rest of the book.
Yeah. I did not kill anybody in this book.
Yeah. Please do not come after me. Please do not send me hate mail. Let's see what else. When late night. I know you're pulling some late nights when you're writing. Coffee, tea, or anything else to fuel the mind. If
it's late nights, it's alcoholic beverages.
That's when all the crazies come out.
Like, it's funny because people are like, do you ever get stoned? And I was just like, no. Like, I mean, I never got into the whole thing. I never even tried anything exciting. Like, I was just, to me, it was always like, you know, when we were growing up as kids, like, you know, you were like out in the cornfields getting hammered. You know, we all did the thing. Like, to me, that's
Small town
Yeah,
heroes,
you know, you went out and you got beers and you hid from your parents and stuff like that. Like, if I'm
Skunk
gonna do
beers.
stuff, it's like I'm fine with just getting drinks. You know, doing some whiskey and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I usually like, you know, drink if it's late night just to like power through. But you also end up with like some messed up stuff that you might have to edit after.
Right.
So it's like, but yeah, or I am not a morning person. I think I told you this when you
Yes.
like had me coming here. So it's
9
like I'm
a.m. was
definitely
pushing it.
we're definitely not writing in the morning.
No.
So.
Do you think you would ever write a book outside of the murder mystery genre, per
Yeah,
se?
I think that I'm actually going to release a romance in the new year. So I think I'm just going to dabble. It's going to be like one of those Yellowstone cowboy romances, I think. So I've been dabbling with it. I mean, I think it's just even for my own palette, I have to like not always write something so dark. So yeah, I'm definitely going to release some romance in the future.
And we're gonna for my last question. Where can we get these books? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm really, really curious. Like, do you have them on audio or yet?
They're not on audio yet, just because my fan base isn't. Like, my most fan base are like physical copies or ebooks. So I know I am going to move into audiobooks at this point, but it's just not there yet. Mm-hmm. And you can get anything on Amazon. I'm in some bookstores, I'm in Barnes and Nobles, that sort of thing. But for the most part, you can get anything on Amazon.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Well, Kimberly, I appreciate you coming on today. Oh my gosh, I had such a great time talking about airplanes running into fire trucks. Hobo the dog. The littlest hobo.
The littlest hobo, yeah.
The littlest hobo.
Don't misrepresent.
I don't want to. The littlest hobo that could. I don't know what the story is. And I'm going to look it up on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But I hope everybody goes out and looks up these books, guys. You know what? I'm going to pick up a copy myself, even though I don't read a lot. I need to read more. Maybe in 2026 I can read more. I'll finish the novel. Not in a day, but maybe I can take the whole year to finish this novel. But I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Maybe we'll have you come back on and when you have your other book.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to come back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Guys, that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time. And I want to shout out to all the sponsors. Thank you for your support and kindness. Without your help, this is not possible. And until next time, we'll see you later. Have a good one.